See what the camera look like, because you already know. Welcome back, Team DWC. Y'all know it's your boy TWP. And y'all already know what time it is. 10 a.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday, aka another day in paradise. Y'all know how we gonna do with your boy. We gonna start off over here with the buy me a coffee. Y'all know to go support your boy on his buy me a coffee. Because you know, YouTube might not monetize my content, but I monetize my content. Shout out to me for monetizing me. Big me in the building. If you don't like it, you already know. Hit the thumbs up on your way out. And then find a video of mine that you do like. Because, you know, I got plenty of them, so you'll like something. Shout out to giving you options. Because, you know, you ain't got to like every video, but you can like the ones you do like. You know, we got a lot of things available on the Buy Me a Coffee, so anything you need to do with me as far as anything, you know, we can talk over there, because, you know, YouTube be censoring and all that good stuff, so you can just email me straight through whatever you're going to do on Buy Me a Coffee. It'll send me a message. Shouts out to y'all. Like I said, we got our members set up. Got 20 members for exclusive membership posts. I don't do too many members only posts because, you know, I like to send out the announcement to everybody that does have memberships or not. You know what I'm saying? You can sign up to get the free announcements that when I post over there. So, you see, we got plenty of posts over here too. Page down, page down. Dinah, page down. Page in distress. Yeah, but you see the stuff gets views over there on the Buy Me a Coffee side. Shouts out to the Buy Me a Coffee. It's a growing platform. Y'all know to go get your monetization benefits over there. If you ain't monetized, I don't know why. Hell, I been gave y'all them tips. Boom. My first clip of the day. Shouts out to clipping them videos. That's what we doing today. We clip farming as usual. You did. Shouts out to getting that work put in, because you know Spider Pig got his work put in too. Y'all see we posted that video that we did today, Super Saturday video, already posted. It'll be available shortly, so you dig. But as far as today, we can get away from where we was at. Go right back into our video playlist, because we got some videos to do. Then we're going to have to go into the green room so we can get some more Triple B Farms genetics going as far as getting that auto army started. You dig? The last batch, they had nice germination, but then most of them didn't make it, which is cold around here, so I could understand why they didn't want to make it in the environment. There was cold outside wind coming in, because you know how people are. They'll leave the door open. The dog likes to leave the door open too. She's like, I can kick the door open. You kick the damn door open at the wrong time of day. Nobody shut it behind you. But temp swings are a problem in the garden, so that's why we remind you to stay on top of your indoor garden conditions. Shouts out to being in control of your indoor gardening conditions, because that's definitely the battle, like G.I. Joe said. This says 11 videos are unavailable. That's the ones I took out. But we already have our list queued up, I believe. So we'll just go down here and get it started. Shout out to that big homie. Y'all know he supported that beat for the intros, and I appreciate that. Y'all know to go check out his Buy Me a Coffee and his YouTube channel at DJ Is, because y'all know he got them bangers.
Future of Cannabis 2025, a spectacular deep dive. Welcome back to the channel, Legalizers. Today we're diving into the new year 2025. I'm Tom, and you can find me over at CannabisIndustryLawyer.com, where I share the latest updates on cannabis laws, licenses, and everything you need to know about the business of this fascinating plant. What is in store for the cannabis industry this year? Will federal rescheduling finally become reality? Could a crackdown on unregulated THC products reshape the market? And are we in the midst of a cannabis beverage revolution? Stick around as we break down bold predictions that could define the year ahead or be totally wrong. Let's get into it. But if this is your first time here, make sure to click that subscribe button for updates on all things cannabis legalization, because you won't want to miss a thing as we follow the road to full legalization. And now, 2025, the cannabis industry predictions. That could be way, way off or right, but probably dead wrong. All right, what is the first big trend to watch in 2025? When it comes to federal policy, the ongoing rescheduling debate is the most significant development to watch in 2025. The Department of Health and Human Services has recommended moving cannabis from Schedule 1 all the way down to Schedule 3 under the Controlled Substances Act. But the DEA has delayed hearings, so they start this month and go to March of 2025. This recommendation is groundbreaking, and it looks like Trump will continue it. We'll assume he does and report on it if he does not. If the DEA approves this move, it may have to be done with them kicking and screaming the whole way. The DEA has been hostile during this process, but the HHS science is binding on their review. If it goes to Schedule 3, cannabis would no longer be classified alongside substances like heroin and LSD, and instead it would fall alongside drugs like ketamine and anabolic steroids. While this wouldn't legalize cannabis federally, it would make a seismic shift on how it's regulated, providing a federal regulatory framework for the first time in history. The implications are enormous. Schedule 3 status could open doors for medical research designed to actually find benefits instead of harms, create uniform rules for the industry nationwide, and potentially ease banking restrictions because of compliance with, instead of violation of, the CSA. However, it is not without controversy. Some advocates worry that rescheduling rather than descheduling could reinforce corporate control over the industry while leaving small operators behind. This is one of the problems with the movement, is that activists want things how they should be, instead of quantified strategies to make it measurably better. While a majority of people support medical or adult use marijuana legalization in principle, the reality is that only a small fraction actively engage in shaping how these changes happen. Most people are passive supporters. They agree with the idea but aren't motivated to advocate, organize, or delve into specifics of policies. The work of crafting and influencing the actual laws falls to dedicated minorities like you and me, who are deeply invested in this outcome. Schedule 3 still won't mean FDA approved, so you may still need a recommendation from your doctor instead of a prescription. We don't know how that will work out, and that it may take more than 2025 for the rescheduling process to be done. However, we think that Trump keeps the course of action toward medical cannabis being the law nationwide. Maybe it'll happen.
What up,
maybe
DJ
not.
Time?
We could be
Real
going
good
back to
to
the
see
90s
you.
for
How
all
you
we know.
doing?
Let's assume in our crystal ball, somewhere near November of 2025, we see the new rule for Schedule 3, and it seems like regulation is finally coming for cannabis at the federal level. That's where things could start to become very interesting. You see, under the tax code, Section 280E of it, cannabis businesses cannot currently deduct ordinary expenses like rent, salaries, or advertising. This puts them at a severe disadvantage compared to other industries, with effective tax rates often exceeding 70%. If rescheduling happens,
Shit,
Section
we already had
280E
Super
no longer
Saturday over at
applies,
Spider Pig. You know, I'm
saving these
doing my
businesses
Saturday
billions of dollars annually.
THING.
Also, the IRS could start to audit
Rocking.
and fight back against all the challenges that cannabis companies are bringing
Like I
against
got
their
the
tax
domino.
treatment. In December of 2024, the IRS again reiterated how to properly itemize these extra taxes for cannabis companies regarding Form 8275. For marijuana companies, the tax man may treat them differently than their hemp counterparts selling practically identical products, that they claim to be federally legal. Which brings us to our next prognostication for 2025, the hemp loophole, state and federal crackdowns. It is the hottest area of the cannabis industry where you do not need a dispensary license. Hemp, the 2018 Farm Bill, legalized
on
hemp
my other
containing
phone because
less
that's
than
the company
0.3%
phone talking about
THC.
business.
But people disregard the USDA and the DEA's
Yeah, so hold on,
interpretation
no,
of that
no, no, no,
and
no.
cling to it
I'm
only
in all
being
3 of my
Delta 9
charts.
THC,
The
which
Spider
means
Kid
that
get to take
Type
a
1
vacation.
cultivars with
He
no
just put in his
CBD,
work
just
for the
high
week.
THC levels are
That
being
boy's a
sold
high
as
number
hemp.
producer, so
And
you know
the
he
definition
came in,
also
dropped
says
numbers on
all
one day,
derivatives. So
and he
people
did all
and
his
some
work.
judges read into the law synthetic derivatives. Therefore, when
Yeah.
you take the hemp derivative, the CBD isolate, and then do chemistry to it to create, say, THCP, that is argued to be hemp. The DEA does not agree with that, but they are too busy fighting against marijuana being rescheduled to care about more powerful synthetic cannabinoids inundating smoke shops and gas stations nationwide. Since the hemp industry crash of 2020, CBD
big
oil
homie.
spawned synthetically derived cannabinoids like Delta-8 and more recently, even synthetic Delta-9 THC. They have flooded the market. Sometimes they are branded as semi-synthetically derived intoxicants. People claim they are legal under the all derivatives and isomers aspect of the definition without any concern to the natural aspect of an agricultural commodity and the source material being the actual derivative, the CBD isolate itself. People like money, and whatever gets them paid is what they believe. These products are often marketed as legal alternatives to cannabis, but they've raised serious concerns about safety and quality. In 2025, we expect Congress to address this issue head on through the next budget or farm bill. We think that's going to hit this year. Why now? Public scrutiny is growing. Reports of mislabeled or unsafe products are becoming more and more common. States are moving on the issue, and it's coming to a head. The feds know it, and the Republican-controlled Congress has indicated a willingness to tighten regulations, especially as part of broader agricultural reforms. The budget cliff is also coming this spring, and that may be how the definition of hemp changes again. Or not. The budget and debt ceiling need to be addressed, and changes to the definition of hemp have already shown up in the appropriation bills that will be coming due in March or June for the debt ceiling and the new budget. Look for that money to be tied to the new definition, which may bring a bigger allocation of funds for all legalizers' least favorite regulator, the DEA. With a new definition and perhaps more appropriations to ensure compliance, we will likely see a ramp up of enforcement. The agency has already targeted several companies producing unregulated THC products, and 2025 could see a coordinated crackdown. What's the goal? Perhaps to bring the industry in line with new federal standards for Schedule 3 and ensure compliance across the board. It may happen, but I would not bet more than $1 on it. But law and order and butts are on the federal agenda in 2025. We'll find out together here each week on our cannabis legalization news podcast on Sundays. One thing that I really don't see going anywhere until we get more clarity in 2025 is state-level legalization. States have resisted cannabis reform for years. They may finally be seeing the writing on the wall for Schedule 3, federal legal medical cannabis. Why are they seeing that writing on the wall? Because public opinion, medical needs, and federal policies are creating a perfect storm. Nebraska, South Carolina, Indiana, and even Wisconsin. These are states where pressure is mounting to legalize medical cannabis. And when 90% of Americans support medical use, it's only a matter of time before these dominoes fall. 2025 or 2026 very well may be the year when the map of legalization shifts dramatically. For example, Pennsylvania, Governor Josh Shapiro has again included a plan to legalize recreational marijuana in his upcoming budget proposal. This move could pave the way for legislative action in 2025, potentially making Pennsylvania one of the next states to embrace adult use cannabis. But they have to do it legislatively, like Illinois and Minnesota did before, and these are highly partisan votes. So who knows what will happen? Meanwhile, over in Wisconsin, Governor Tony Evers has declared that cannabis legalization should be a priority for the upcoming 2025 session. Despite previous resistance from the Republican-controlled legislature, the growing public support and potential economic benefits may just tip the scales toward legalization. Now, Wisconsin has its own set of problems, from lots of conservatives to the Tavern League that wants you to finish that beer and have 2-3 more, okay? Even Texas is starting to see some movements. Democratic State Representative Jessica Gonzalez has filed a bill to legalize adult use marijuana, aiming to create a regulated market for production and sale. If successful, and I don't think it'll be successful, this would allow adults 21 and over to possess up to 2.5 ounces of marijuana. signaling a shift in the trajectory of a conservative state. However, it reconvenes its legislature on January 14th, and SB 2 or 3 is designed to shut down its burgeoning hemp industry. Texas may take that shutdown of their hemp industry and really put all their chips into Schedule 3, because Texas is a trigger law state. So if it goes to Schedule 3 and their hemp industry is shut down, Texas might be able to reopen it under new rules because of the Schedule 3 change and then the triggering of that change at its state level. We'll have to wait and see. This year or next could reshape the whole country when it comes to safe, natural medical cannabis with natural Delta-9 and other natural derivatives of the cannabis plant. And so ending 2025 predictions with a slam dunk, our lock of the year, which totally could be wrong, cannabis beverages. It's a market on the rise. Let's discuss one of the most exciting trends. Cannabis beverages, THC-infused seltzers, CBD mocktails. This market segment is growing fast. The cannabis beverage market has grown steadily over the past few years, and 2025 may be its breakout moment if codified in the new Farm Bill. Not only that, advances in emulsification technology have made it easier to create consistent, fast-acting products, and consumers are increasingly looking for an alcohol-free alternative. Of course, there's a catch. Regulatory uncertainty has made it difficult for some companies to scale. If Congress passes, and they won't pass it, the Cannabinoid Regulation Act or similar legislation, it could provide a clarity needed to unlock this market's full potential. Until then, growth might be a little bit incremental as opposed to explosive. However, it may be impacted by the next Farm Bill. Alcohol is a huge lobby and a federally three-tiered regulatory system already in place. So maybe alcohol and cannabis become buddies to benefit one another. Who's to say? Lots of these drinks today are carried at Total Wine or Binny's Beverage Depot. That's diversification and preservation of the value of those licenses moving that product. And we can expect more to be done to preserve values of licenses, whether liquor or cannabis. And there you go, our bold industry predictions for the cannabis industry in 2025, from state-level legalization and federal rescheduling to market trends like beverages. This year promises to be a pivotal one, but what do you think? Will rescheduling finally happen? Can the industry overcome challenges like Section 280E of the tax code and the hemp loophole? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching Cannabis Legalization News. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on all things cannabis. See you next time.
This is my first layer of color. I need to maybe go back and fill in a few little spaces, but I'm supposed to start with the light color first and the skin first if I can. Well, really the lightest color on the page first. And the skin appears to be the
Shout out
lightest
to
color on
Melinda
the
Elliott.
page.
Y'all ought to go check her out. She's a level 2 buy me a coffee member. We appreciate
this is my
that.
first layer. I'm going to go on to my second layer. So here is my second layer. Starting to do some shadowing. And then I have a third even darker layer around the edges. So right now I put in my darker color and I am using my lighter colors to do some blending and try and make it a little bit smoother. I just got a few more minutes to work and then my break is over. Bye. From a distance, which is generally how you view a picture that you framed and put on your wall, the coloring doesn't look too bad. Closer up, it looks to me like I need to do more blending, but yeah, considering it's the first adult coloring I've done, at least it's a good start.
large majority, 66% of registered voters support legalizing marijuana.
Look, it's time to compete on marijuana. Every state around us has legalized it.
What we're hoping to be is really a gold standard for what legalization can and should look like nationwide.
We don't want to see the candies and gummies and all of the vaping that's happening.
For years, we've reported on robberies tied to cash-only cannabis businesses because of federal banking restrictions. In December, we told you 4 armed robbers targeted a Southeast Portland dispensary, assaulting an employee and stealing thousands in cash.
In today's show, according to a new poll, voters, including a majority of Republicans, support legalization.
Shout out to the
Governor
homie. Y'all know
Shapiro
he
says
over here
it's
doing
time
his
for
thing on his
Pennsylvania
channel.
to
Appreciate
legalize.
Matt
The
doing
Virginia
more
Crime
than one channel
Commission
now.
says
Y'all
all
know he gotta
possession
have some
records
backup
should
for
be
this.
sealed.
Said he
And
got
a
his
new
law degree.
proposal
He coming in with his
reintroduced by
law
the
channel
Oregon
now.
legislature
Shout out
could
to your
pave the way
boy.
for cannabis cafes. All that and more in today's episode. But let's start off right here with the new poll, which says that voters, including a majority of Republicans, support legalization. Let's check it out.
Eyewitness News continues now at 4:30.
New developments in the battle over legalizing marijuana in Pennsylvania. A large majority, 66% of registered voters support legalizing marijuana in Pennsylvania. That's according to a new CBS News Battleground Tracker poll. 34% do not support legalizing marijuana. Eyewitness News reporter Howard Monroe is in Northern Liberties with more on the fight for Legal Week.
Yes, and good evening to you as well. And there are bills in the State House that would legalize marijuana. However, there are also efforts to stop those bills in their tracks.
It's just the right thing to do.
State Representative Ahmed Brown is the sponsor of a bill that would legalize marijuana in Pennsylvania, and it appears as though the majority is behind him. The latest CBS News poll shows 66% of registered Pennsylvania voters would like to see marijuana be legalized. That's compared to 33% who want it to remain illegal.
I really think it's a great thing, and they should legalize it.
Representative Brown says legalizing marijuana would help build revenue in underserved areas.
Education, after-school programs, affordable housing, things of that nature, and investing that money in creating jobs and helping the communities who were hit the hardest by the prohibition.
Brown is working with Republican Senator Mike Regan, who represents parts of Cumberland and York counties, to make it happen. Senator Regan was not available for comment. In an op-ed he wrote last year, he explained his support by stating that it's to help law enforcement who are battling crime, gangs, and cartels over marijuana. But Dan Bartkowiak of the Pennsylvania Family Institute is opposed to the idea.
We can have conversations to try to improve the criminal justice system, and I think that's a lot of what people look at with regards to the full-on legalization of recreational marijuana. But again, that's a separate discussion that should be had. We don't want to see the candies and gummies and all of the vaping that's happening.
Meanwhile, another voter we spoke with says that there are bigger problems to solve.
There's more things to worry about just legalizing marijuana right now. So I feel like more protection in the city, is more appropriate right now than anything.
Now, CBS News did not ask about reforming the criminal justice system. It only asked if people would like to see recreational marijuana legalized.
So from that clip, you guys can see a lot of people are in favor of legalization. While that clip was a couple of years old, there was a poll which came out today, which says that 7 in 10 Pennsylvania voters, including a majority of Republicans, support legalization, according to this new poll. Now, according to this article, a majority of Republicans actually support legalization over in PA, and most voters also want to see the legislature enact the policy change this year rather than delaying it further down the line. Now, what I found pretty interesting about this is that typically you guys will associate conservatives and Republicans with being against legalization, but what I'm noticing is that a lot of the younger generations are actually in favor of legalization and they are open to the plan. And what I also liked about this poll is that the specific wording of the question was very simple. It simply asked, do you support or oppose allowing the sale of adult use herb in Pennsylvania? The article goes on to say the Democrats were the most likely to favor the policy change at 85%, followed by independents at 62% and Republicans at 53%. However, backing from Republican voters under the age of 50 was higher at 63%, which Responsible PA said reflects a clear generational change in conservative views. So going off of this, one may be able to argue that more Republicans actually support legalization than independents. And that's something that I've been noticing as well. A lot of the Republican, conservative, older lawmakers, the older generations, they are still still opposed to legalization, but a lot of the younger generations are actually open to it. So maybe it may be a good idea to revamp some of these older lawmakers and bring in some of the young, fresh blood. Now, this article also says that supporting legalization not only carries little political risk, it also provides electoral advantages across party lines. Now, that's something that we've seen quite often. No matter what party it is, they tend to dangle that carrot in front of us to get our votes. And just a quick reminder, guys, if you're getting value from this video, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support us further, join the ICANN VIP Bean Club or buy us a cup of coffee. Now, what is good is that recently a bipartisan bill was actually proposed in the Pennsylvania House to this very effect. So let's have a look at that.
The latest effort to legalize recreational marijuana has been proposed in the form of a bipartisan state House bill. Thanks for joining us for Fox 43 News at 10. I'm Amy Lutz. The bill's supporters say it would raise hundreds of millions of tax dollars per year. Fox 43's James Corrigan spoke to one of the main authors of the bill to give us the details of what this would look like.
After numerous efforts in the last several years, legalizing recreational marijuana is back on the legislative agenda. And this time, the effort is bipartisan.
What we're hoping to be is really a gold standard for what legalization can and should look like nationwide.
State Representative Emily Kincaid is the co-author of the latest effort, HB 2500, with Republican Aaron Coffe of Luzerne County. The new bill would impose an 8% sales tax on cannabis products and a 5% excise tax on sellers, which Kincaid says would raise significant money for the Commonwealth.
Conservatively, we're looking at $420 million a year. We constantly have been talking about for the last few years that Pennsylvania is going to run into, a fiscal cliff. This is a way to bring in revenue in order to address that.
Where that money goes, however, is the biggest sticking point. The bill would distribute money to establish a cannabis business and regulation fund, along with law enforcement and treatment services. The impetus for legalizing now follows Ohio's legalization last year, meaning every state bordering Pennsylvania aside from West Virginia has legalized recreational marijuana.
It's a real problem because we are losing revenue that we could be using to reinvest in the people in Pennsylvania, and instead that's going to invest in people in other states. This is a major economic driver, this is a major jobs driver, and this is something that is going to serve justice and help Pennsylvanians in a myriad of ways.
The prospects for this bill depend, of course, on the support of Senate Republicans, but also of Governor Shapiro, who has indicated broad support for legalizing recreational marijuana, but has yet to endorse this framework. If he does, Representative Kincaid believes that this bill could pass by the end of the year.
So the people have made their views clear, and it's always helpful when you got a governor who's in favor of legalization. And Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, he's in favor of legalization, and this is what he had to say.
Look, it's time to compete on marijuana. Every state around us has legalized it, and I've candidly had my own journey on this issue as a father of four, as the former chief law enforcement officer of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania when I served as Attorney General. I recognize that that issue requires some evolution for folks. The way I see it now is this is a matter of competition. We got to compete with other states. We also have to stop draining resources away from law enforcement, and we've got to make sure that we regulate this industry instead of letting the black market continue to run amok.
So hearing Governor Shapiro's stance on this is really refreshing, but that's not always the case because there are always some people who are still willing to oppose it.
So along with some changes to corporate taxes, Shapiro believes that taxing cannabis as well as skill games could help bring in more than $1 billion needed to help pay for increased costs for health care for the poor, as well as some increases to education funding that he wants to pass as part of the budget. But there is some skepticism about this plan. Will this be the year we see legalized recreational cannabis for adults in PA? I don't see any path whatsoever. Lancaster County State Senator Scott Martin says he's not convinced the votes are there to legalize marijuana.
They're gonna have to take a shot.
Revenues that never materialized on the level that they said. But there's something to be said about not jumping fully into the pool when you can't answer all those questions. The other part, we're saying we need to do this because the states around us are doing it. I think it's a pretty weak excuse.
So despite the fact that there is some pushback, it's really refreshing to see that at least there is more understanding and acceptance of the plant. And one thing that cannot be downplayed is the medical benefits that come from the plant. And that can be seen clearly in this article, which actually says medical herb helps mothers to be more present parents and develop positive relationships with their children. children, according to a brand new study. Now, this article, which was actually posted this morning, says that new government-funded research out of New Zealand finds that mothers who are able to access medical herb reported that herb improved their quality of parenting by allowing them to more effectively manage their health conditions and tolerate the stress of caring for children. At the same time, the study participants also reported persistent obstacles such as the high cost of legal products and the ongoing stigma as well as legal risks. So despite the fact that there are tons of benefits, a lot of people are still finding the stigma and they're feeling really ashamed of using it simply because of that stigma, but also because of the legal risks and the high cost of the legal market. So there are a lot of health benefits when it comes to the good herb, and according to this study, a lot of the parents actually found that the good herb enabled them to manage their own health needs such as anxiety, endometriosis, and arthritis. So from that point of view, you guys can see it's bittersweet. There are a lot of benefits, but there are still a lot of stigma and the fact that some people still have to hit the illicit market or the free market to get their medicine. Now, speaking of the free market or the legacy market, a lot of people will find this next story to be good news if you've been operating in that market for quite some time. And according to this article, Virginia Crime Commission says that all possession records should be sealed. With Virginia's short 2025 legislative session underway, state officials are recommending that lawmakers seal all criminal records pertaining to offenses for simple possession, as well as revise the state's record sealing process around paraphernalia crimes. Now, this is good because in simple possession instances, you can still find yourself in a lot of trouble, even if it comes to applying for jobs, houses, any of that stuff. But what this legislation will do is ensure that all possession offenses are sealed, regardless of whether they're a conviction or not a conviction. And the only way to get around that is with a court order. Now, this provision would not apply to certain DMV records, which are affected by federal record retention requirements, but business screening services that refer to people's criminal histories or driving records would be required to promptly delete any sealed cannabis charges or convictions. So again, this recognizes the benefits, but also recognizes the fact that there's a wider acceptance when it comes to the plan. And a wider acceptance of the plan can also be seen over in Oregon, where a ballot measure is being proposed to open cannabis cafes. And I think this is really important, because a lot of places when you get your flower, there's nowhere to consume it in a safe spot unless you're in your own home. So let's have a look at this, which actually gives users a safe spot to consume their herb.
Oregon's push for cannabis cafes is getting momentum, with plans to put the concept to voters this November. Tonight we spoke with the powerhouse behind the petition, who argues
we already got loungers
the
too.
state's cannabis scene for good.
I done seen me at plenty of them. Shouts out to
recreational marijuana.
And now we
Since
got
then,
the higher
we've
event
seen farms,
space.
dispensaries,
And we got
and
places.
cannabis
I'm gonna do a
cafes
top
pop up
5
all across
cannabis
the
lounges
state,
video.
offering
That
spaces
is
for
one of the
people to
ideas
smoke
I wrote down the other
recreationally.
day.
It's
Y'all
really
know
just
how
a
we do
matter
with
of
ideas.
zoning and ventilation at this point.
The things we make happen.
Justice Scythe, founder of the Oregon Cannabis Cafe Coalition, says most cafes shut down in 2016 after the state passed the Indoor Clean Air Act. It bans smoking inside public places, among other things.
The cannabis industry right now is actually suffering because we have such a surplus of product.
Justice argues that reopening cannabis cafes in Oregon could boost tourism and the economy, drawing inspiration from states like California and Colorado. Right now, she's gathering signatures to exempt the cafes from the Indoor Clean Air Act, allowing smoking areas without breaking state rules.
The goal here is to create a system that everybody can agree with. I want it to be safe. I want it to be controlled and as professional as we possibly can.
So far, the amendment doesn't address banking issues or cash transactions. For years, we've reported on robberies tied to cash-only cannabis businesses because of federal banking restrictions. In December, we told you 4 armed robbers targeted a Southeast Portland dispensary, assaulting an employee and stealing thousands in cash. Justice has worked in Portland's cannabis industry for 6 years. She says she's now focused on her dream, creating a solution that benefits both the industry and the community responsibly.
The last 6 years, I've always wanted to open a cannabis cafe, but wanted to have the experience, know the laws inside and out.
To be clear here, this is far from a done deal. In total, Justice needs to gather 1,000 sponsorship signatures to begin the ballot title drafting process. If she does that, she can get her initiative in front of voters for the November 2026 ballot.
So clearly it's a process, and small steps are better than no steps. Small steps that we're seeing in places like Pennsylvania, Oregon, these are really great things. But there are also still a lot of problems when it comes to things like banking and the fact that it operates on a cash-only basis, making you a sitting duck and a massive target for a lot of these criminal enterprises that literally come and rob your place of business. But let me know what you guys think about all this. Do you think that these are good moves, or do you think these are bad moves? I want to find out what you guys think and where you guys stand. And recently, we've been noticing a trend where a lot of Chinese investors are buying up US farmland with suitcases full of cash. So if you want to find out more about that, check that video out because it's coming up right now.
You already know I got something behind me doing hell. That's why I said I gotta do more shit working because it's been a fucked up winter this year. But that's cool because I accept that. I'll take a loss now because I'm going to take a win for the rest of the year. Shouts out for the rest of the year wins because we done plotted them out.
I'm going to see the Father. Damn, Earth was cool. Oh, this gas, 93 octane. God, take me now. Hey, cool it. He got another one sparked already. He being unreasonable. This beyond me if he think I'm finna hit that blunt again. Heavens, no, I'm high, bucko. I'm puzzled. I'm finna give it right back to him and tell him I hit it 10 times already. I'm finna call 911 and report an attempted murder. He keep passing me blunts. He think we in a relay race. What a bummer. I'm finna put this out, and if he asks why, I'm gonna tell him I'm allergic to marijuana. Weed for me stand for with each exhale, I'm about to die. He gotta knock it off. I done already took 2 blunts. He done sparked a 3rd one. Smoke monster. I'm finna play sleep. I'm comatose. Big fella, you took that blunt to the head. Now you finna be in the nearest hospital bed. This ain't the move. I'm finna scoot. He a different.
Vertical farms are supposed to
Hell, he smokes 84 blunts in a day, so that's probably what it's like sitting around him. Hell, it's gonna be multiple blunts fired up. Better be ready. Don't have no baby lungs. Can't be no geek off the streets.
And by stacking vertically, grow more produce on less acreage. It all sounds like a brilliant idea. And yet fast forward to 2024, and vertical farm after vertical farm is failing and going bankrupt. So what happened? This sounds like such a good idea on paper, but clearly something's not working. So we need to get to the bottom of what exactly is going on, because this one surprised me. And there's actually a little bit more to the story than I realized, so stick around till the end. I'm Ricky, this is Stupid Adventure. This video is sponsored by Ground News. Over $2 billion were invested in vertical farms in 2022, with hundreds of startups and vertical farms promising to make farming possible in large urban hubs. By 2023, the vertical farming market was already worth over $5 billion, seemingly with every venture capital firm around the world with fear of missing out, looking to invest in the next big vertical farming unicorn. This story actually goes back further than you might think. Vertical farms have been popular since the mid-1990s. In 2020, there were only about 100 well-funded vertical farming companies, but fast forward to 2023, and there were over 2,000 of them in the US alone, and many more in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. Some of these companies were on a rocket ship ride to reaching unicorn status, which is basically a private company startup that's worth over $1 billion. For example, the German company Infarm, founded in 2013, was the first unicorn vertical farming startup, raising over $600 million and reaching a valuation of over $1 billion in 2021. Bowery Farming was the second unicorn, worth around $2.3 billion in 2021. There was real buzz in the air, and the excitement was palpable. People actually thought that Silicon Valley might have finally solved the farming sustainability problem. The benefits of vertical farming were widely publicized. Better crop yields, for example, where vertical farms could produce multiple times higher output than regular farms or even greenhouse farming. Another big key point was the reduction in water use, up to 90% or more. And this is really, really important because depending on where you're trying to build this farm, water might become increasingly scarce. And of course, there was year-round production, where it didn't really matter what season it was or what the weather was like outside. You could grow your crops all the time. Another big thing was land use reduction, using up just a fraction of the land, and by building upward, you could have similar outputs on much less land. This really mattered because this allowed you to grow food
in more densely populated urban areas as opposed to from halfway around the world. It also actually minimized the use of pesticides because you can control the environment, and it was indoors. You wouldn't have as much bugs and bacteria to contend with. And finally, vertical farms have the potential, at least, to be highly automated. By the way, have you ever wondered how we do our research for our videos? Just put up on Google, right? Wrong. Our news is broken because our political views determine which version of the story you hear, which is crazy, and why my team and I research all of our stories using ground news. Check this out. This is what I found when researching a recent video on Boeing and the 737 MAX. Using ground news, you can quickly see who's covering this story, which way they lean, and see how there's uneven coverage and a blind spot for left-leaning
Shout out to putting your personal ads in there,
You'll
though.
see amazing metrics too,
Gotta pay
like
them
coverage
bills.
details, bias distribution, publication factuality, and ownership. It's like having superpowers to cut through the news headlines. And if you really want to see the power of ground news, try pulling up some various presidential headlines right now. So if you want to get to the truth behind the headlines, use my link, ground.news/2bit, and you'll get 30% off their unlimited access Vantage plan for just about $5 a month. Huge thanks to Ground News and you. Now back to the show. That was the promise, but the reality, unfortunately, is starting to sink in. In 2023, impatient investors started dropping out of the market, and we'll get to why they did in a minute. Venture capital investment fell from $2.1 billion in the first 3 quarters of 2022 to just $275 million in the same period in 2023, a drop of almost 90%. But why does that matter? I mean, in most industries, yes, less investment means things will take longer, there's less growth, but it doesn't mean that companies will just come crashing down. However, that's precisely what's happening with the vertical farming industry. Fifth Season, a robo-farming company, was among the first to go belly up in late 2022. Here's how the former VP at Fifth Season, Chris Cerveni, explains what happened to the company. We had tech investors in Silicon Valley, and they had expectations of how fast things were going to come out. Everybody was pulling back, so the funding was not readily available. Also, the burn in vertical farming is very high. But that was only the beginning. All major players were failing. In March 2023, Upward Farms, which had raised almost $150 million and had broken ground on a new 250,000 square foot vertical farm in Pennsylvania in 2022, announced it would cease all vertical farming operations. Also, New Jersey's Aero Farms, Kentucky's App Harvest, and Planted Detroit all filed for bankruptcy. InFarm, the German unicorn, also closed operations in Denmark, the UK, France, the Netherlands, Germany, completely exiting the European market. Calera, the company with the most vertical farms around the world, also filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in April. And one of the biggest of all, Bowery Farms, took a heavy blow to its valuation. While they didn't file for bankruptcy, the company that was valued at $2.3 billion in 2021 was written down to just under $350 million by the end of 2023, and had to do 2 massive layoffs to stay afloat. That really sucks. This is a technology that I was really rooting for. But to better understand why this is happening, we should probably learn a little bit more about vertical farming. Imagine growing plants in a sealed skyscraper, or building instead of a field. That's the essence of vertical farming. In vertical farming, crops grow vertically in stacked trays or containers, maximizing the use of surface area. Plants don't need soil. They get their nutrients from a special water solution delivered directly to the roots by hydroponics or aeroponics. But the key is lighting. We replace regular sunlight with special LED lights that mimic the natural light spectrum plants need to grow. Lighting in vertical farms takes advantage of a certain principle, that plants don't actually use all the light from the sun. It's only special wavelengths. So vertical farms use special LEDs that produce light in 2 colors that plants love. Blue LEDs provide blue light that help plants grow, while red LEDs promote flowering and fruiting. By adjusting the amount of red and blue light, farmers can optimize plant growth depending on the crop. That's why whenever you see a picture of a vertical farm, they always look sort of purple, a combination of both. Finally, vertical farms also closely monitor and control temperature, humidity, and air circulation to create the perfect environment for each crop, regardless of season or what's happening outside. After looking at the technology and comparing it to normal agriculture, I noticed several clear cons. You need a lot more high-tech equipment and sensors, which are just more expensive up front. It seems kind of silly to buy high-tech LEDs in red and blue to mimic sunlight when we could just use the sun for free. And operating a vertical farm also requires much more skilled workers with knowledge of plant science, engineering, and controlled environment agriculture. Not only are these skills harder to find, but they also lead to much higher labor costs compared to hiring some field hands to work a farm. And after a bit of digging, I also discovered that vertical farms are much more prone to certain risks like pest and disease, since both the water and the air are circulated in a closed loop system. So the very benefit that they were trying to go for, controlling the environment, can very quickly turn on you as well. Also, have you noticed that practically all the stuff that comes out of a vertical farm is lettuce, basil, and other leafy greens? How on earth are we going to feed the world with nothing but green salad? Where are the fruits and vegetables at? Well, that has to do with vertical farms' biggest Achilles heel. Let's use vertical farming's most beloved and popular crop as an example, lettuce. This table shows an average yield of lettuce in different types of farms. You can see that the vertical farms have much higher productivity than traditional farming. A small container vertical farm can yield 14 pounds of lettuce per square foot, as much as 33 times more than the industrial open field farming and over 20 times more than a hydroponic greenhouse. This doesn't just work with lettuce, it happens with most other crops you can grow in a vertical farm. So yes, vertical farms are way more productive than normal farms.
I'm gonna go check out the bud falls.
But that doesn't
Appreciate
make
it
them
coming by.
profitable. There's more to the equation than just growing more lettuce per acre of land. What if you have no shortage of land? Then that doesn't really matter, right? It comes down to the price of a head of lettuce. No one's paying more for the same lettuce grown in a vertical farm. And this is where it gets complicated, because vertical farms have costs that traditional farms don't. How about electricity? Running all those LED lights and robots 24/7? So that's going to eat into your profit. Well, here's what I found for a full year of vertical farming. Notice that contrary to what I initially thought, electricity doesn't make up most of the cost. It's less than 10% of the total cost of a head of lettuce. The highest cost comes from labor, which, as I mentioned before, is more expensive than a normal farm. And in this case, contributes almost half of the overall cost. The second highest expense is capital expenses. This comes from high initial investment in everything from equipment, sensors, heat pumps, AC, heating, cooling, and the like. And then there's the maintenance of all that equipment. And that works out to a cost of $5.26 per pound of lettuce, or about $4 per head. And that's the price at the farm. Imagine what you might end up paying at the supermarket. Take a minute to think about how much you paid for your last head of lettuce. Let me know in the comments below. This will depend on where you live, obviously. I'm guessing it's less than $5.25. How about in a traditional open field farm? Here's what the cost would look like. The numbers speak for themselves. Producing a pound of lettuce on a field costs 6 times less than a vertical farm. Yes, you can argue that there are higher shipping costs because farms are further away from the people that need them. But these supply chains are super optimized and add very little to the actual end price of lettuce. Vertical farms' problem isn't that we're using LEDs instead of free sunlight. It's that labor and capital costs are way too high. In farms, you don't even have to worry about how much your land losing value will cost you every year, because it doesn't lose value, it's farmland. In a vertical farm, not only do you have to spend hundreds, sometimes millions of dollars to set up a vertical farm, but that farm loses value over time as your assets and equipment depreciate. And if you're wondering, what does a head of lettuce or a pound of lettuce cost here in the US? About $2.60. And that's to the consumer, which means that the wholesale price that the farmers are selling it at is $63 to $1.26 per pound. And that's why these farms just cannot compete, especially if where they're established have high labor costs, easy access to normal farm produce, and high electricity prices, which describes a lot of the European markets that this was targeted for. Ultimately, the entire
coffee cake
industry
dish.
was predicated on
Always
a
good
bet
to see how you doing.
that vertical
Hopefully you have
farms
another day in
established right
paradise.
near customers with
Appreciate
high
you
levels of
coming by.
sustainability and better water management, which is all true, could produce a product that was cheaper than a developing nation with copious amounts of sunshine and rain normally, and the cost of shipping it. And that gamble just didn't pay off. But there is a silver lining. Most large vertical farming companies are relocating in hot and arid climates where there's a lot of renewable energy, like in the Middle East. This is what's making huge construction projects like Saudi Arabia's line possible. How else do you feed millions of people in a linear city? Also, while many companies are going under, the vertical farming industry at large is actually still growing with a compound annual growth rate of about 25%. If we figure out how to further automate these farms and the hardware and prices go down as economies of scale are reached, could we actually see this work? And the answer is kind of maybe. Ultimately, this is still a wager between humans and engineering versus Mother Nature and the sun. And where you fall kind of depends upon your outlook. But if you thought this was interesting, you're not going to believe this video. Gotta watch next.
Gotta watch next.
So let's get back to the topic. I've got the garlic in there. I'm gonna chop up this onion. I'm gonna put a little bit of water, and I'm gonna just let those saute down. Is sugar like
I already
crack?
dropped the
What do you
Superfood
all
Parents
know
link.
about
Y'all know
the
to go check
studies?
out my
Have
sponsors.
you seen any studies? Are you
Keep it
familiar
popping
with
over
this?
there.
That sugar is addictive, and one of the main ways that we get it is in our ultra-processed foods. So anything that's processed or ultra-processed, for example, if you're eating a tomato, that's just a whole food. If you turn that tomato into ketchup, if you turn that tomato into any sort of sauce, then it's processed. And it may be ultra-processed, like a ketchup would be ultra-processed, because you can't even recognize it anymore. If it's salsa, that would be processed because it has been changed, but it's not ultra-processed, where there's been all these additives and all these different things happening with it. So we're just going to rough chop our onion and put that in the pan. And remember, we're sauteing these all with a splash of water. Christiana, can you bring me the liquid aminos, please? Thank you. So liquid aminos, I'm going to use those as the salt here to season this up. And let's see what you all are saying in the chat. Rainbow is saying, dark vegetables and fruit come with extra stuff. Absolutely. The darker the berry, the sweeter the juice, right? But also the darker the berry, the sweeter the nutrients, like the darker the food. So Rainbow is saying dark vegetables and fruit come with extra stuff. So eat lots of colors in fruit and vegetables, and eat foods are different. So you get vitamin A and carotene in carrots, or any orange vegetable, you'll find some of those same properties. So like butternut squash or pumpkin, those orange foods. Of course, the green foods you have, especially those leafy greens, right? Rainbow, thank you. Rainbow says, I love some okra. Absolutely. So I can't remember if okra has calcium in it. I can't remember the specific nutrients, but that's the nice thing. When you're eating the rainbow, you don't have to like count calories. You don't have to worry about, am I feeding my loved ones? Am I being a superfood parent? How am I feeding my, nope, you don't have to worry about it. You just know that you're already doing great when you actually are consuming whole foods. Let's say if you're a vegetarian, like David Hunt, he's a vegetarian, so he tries to eat a lot of whole foods. But if David and Michelle are over there eating processed and ultra-processed foods, you can best believe that's where the sugar is hiding. The sugar is in the processing. It's sort of like a preservative. They know that it appeals to people's palate, and that sugar in most things is what makes you come back for more. So last night,
warning, this content is rated for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Of course.
This video is brought to you by Hydro Bucket. Use discount code 10 from Ben and save 10% on any order at thehydrobucket.com.
Okay. Appreciate
Hello,
that.
and welcome to my channel. My name is
Got
Ben.
you a discount link right there. See? Cheat code.
If this is your first time stopping by, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That would be greatly appreciated. All right, so here we are on my Instagram, and I did go ahead and initiate the giveaway for the Spider Farmer self-watering system. This is a Foresight self-watering kit. And it's very simple to enter into this giveaway. You just follow me on Instagram as well as Spider Farmer Amazon, which will be tagged in the post. Like the post and tag 2 Grobies in the comments section. A bonus entry for sharing the post to your story and tagging me. Each tag is equivalent to 1 entry. Unlimited entries for every participant. The winner will be announced when I reach 1,500 followers on Instagram. This giveaway is open to the United States only, lower 48 states. And please, beware of fake accounts. I will never ask you for any payment information or any personal information other than your name and your address once you are the winner. I will cover the shipping, so no one has to pay anything to enter into this giveaway. Do not get scammed. If you want to give your money away, ask me for my PayPal, ask me for my Cash App. I will gladly take your money. No, but in all seriousness, please, do not get scammed. There's only one Been Chasing Big Bubs Instagram. You're looking at it on the screen. Good luck to everybody who enters. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so when we left off on the last episode, I transferred these girls from the 12-site DWC starter kit that I created out of a Husky tote. Just took a drill and a hole saw and made a starter kit. And we transferred them, the 4 best looking girls, based on smell, rate of growth, and a few other factors. We transferred them into these hydro buckets, and then we push play. Essentially. Alright, so it's been 14 days since we last saw these girls, and on the 9th day, I did initiate flower. So these girls have been in flower for 5 days now. And this is what things are looking like. Very healthy, very green and robust growth going on in this tent. These hydro buckets are doing an excellent job. And this girl right here seems to be the only one in the tent that is suffering from cannibalization. So I'm just gonna give her a little push by defoliating these already cannibalized leaves. And you can have a look at them for yourself and get a good idea of what cannibalization looks like. It usually will start at the bottom of the plant, and it can be harmless as long as you address it. So the easiest way to address it is to feed your plants. Cannibalization is a representation of the plant eating itself, which means it's hungry. What do? You feed it. So, harmless enough. Cut those leaves away. They won't come back because I am going to feed these girls right now. And we'll be back to see what they look like in a few weeks. Alright, so we are back in this tent, and it has been 11 days. This girl, these 3 girls, well, this one right here is taller than these other 3. As you can see. So I'm going to experiment a little bit. We are in the middle of flower with these 4 girls. These 3 girls are doing just fine, but this one, I'm gonna top her. I have never topped a plant in flower. I have no idea how this is gonna work. I got these 2 tops. Let's get a little closer of a view. Got these 2 tops down here that I wanna keep. And then this right here, we're gonna get rid of. Just gonna chop her right off. Like I said, we are in about week 3, week 4 of flower. And this is something I have never done, but I'm willing to try to see if it works.
technically, the only thing he needs to do is reroot that top and then re-veg it and then regrow it. Keep a
And let
nice,
you all know.
nice run of it right there.
All right, so as you can see, this canopy is much more even. The light can be more be distributed more evenly now. Yeah. And this is the top. It'll dry up, and as a result, this plant will send energy to all of these tops instead of focusing on that one top. And all of these plants are at the same stage. Beautiful.
He cut it short so it looks better.
So my feeding
What up, Dale?
schedule
Good to
has
see
not
you. How you
changed
doing?
since I started growing quite some years ago. I just so happen to like DWC, and liquid nutrients are what works in DWC. As you can see, these are all liquid nutrients. I have been running general hydroponics since I started growing. And generally, I like to keep things even. So if I'm giving 15 milliliters of a Flora Micro, then I will give 15 milliliters of the Bloom and the Grow and Cincy CalMag. And when we're in flower, it'll be 15 milliliters of Cool Bloom. I like to stick to about between 3 and 5 milliliters of the Orca and the Silica Boost. So just to keep things light with those two, like I said, somewhere between 3 and 5 milliliters at all times, every time I feed.
Never
And
give
that's
up, we give it all we got. Look if we fall, we rise until we're calling shots.
Stop falling till we shot calling.
We never give up, we give it all we got.
That's right.
Look if we fall, we rise until we're calling shots.
Yeah.
Never give up.
Look, if you knew about my hurdles and my obstacles, I have me jumping through loops. I did the impossible. I don't be walking on water, but I'm optimal. And if you wanna know the path, I'ma tell you just
never give up.
That's right. Be who you wanna be. At least until you get it right. They used to call me everything. Except for M. Type, but look, I never gave up. I kept it moving till I got here. Now I'm hearing all these haters say it's not fair, but they just bitching, they just blow a bunch of hot air. I could stop there, but look, I
never give up.
Whole dirty reincarnated little dog. Nobody thought that he was gonna make it, and now I got a whole pack full of wand chasers. And guess what, homie? Yeah, we never
give up. We give it all we got. Look if we fall, we rise until we're calling shots.
Stop falling till we shot calling.
Never give up. We give it all we got. Look if we
That's a sweet system, though. You see, easy access, baby.
never give up.
What's going on, my man? Good to see you. How you doing? Appreciate the thumbs up.
Dreams are really seem possible when you're chasing it. You're probably seen insurmountable when you're facing it. Big dreams are making it. You're ignorant, you're faking it. All the talent in the world, you got it while you're wasting it. If you don't believe in yourself, then why you claiming it? If you make excuses and you're lazy, ain't no saving it. Life gave me lemons, I made lemonade, I'm sipping it. Turbulence is imminent, my hustle is fitting it. You don't know how to rap, those skills are hooping it or shooting it. You feel the only choice you got is get the word distributed. Buy, burn, or break it down.
All right, so we have made it to the 4th week of flower. We're actually exactly at 30 days. This is the 30th day of flower, and this is what this tent is looking like. Cali Mocho by Ithacan Genetics. Nice and green, lush and healthy. Buds are plumping up very nicely. I'm excited. Everything that I've ran by Ithacan has been pure primo, and this one is not going to disappoint. Right here, you can see we have this this is the result of this top when I topped this girl. And she just kept on going. This was one tall phenotype. She would have probably ended up past the light with the initial top, or the initial cola, I should say. But now you have all of that energy focused on all these different colas, which is going to turn out very nicely. It looks like this is going to be a purple plant. That doesn't mean much. Colors don't necessarily indicate any sort of potency. But yeah, this is a beautiful grow, very beautiful grow. And the one thing about it, I know earlier, or I should say in the last episode, I said that I was not going to use this mini sun by minute grow, but I just wanted to see how
you know, we're always doing some networking. Hell, hopefully you get to know everybody in that chat.
in a 4x4,
Hit them 3 dots and go on to them spots, right?
It's turning up. Not, you know, nothing major, but this is a very small light in a very big footprint. And once again, these hydro buckets are doing extremely well. This is my 3rd run with the hydro buckets, and I absolutely love them. I believe they are the best buckets on the market, and got a little bit of root action, as you can see. Just a wonderful grow. I couldn't be happier. If you're interested in getting your own hydro buckets, remember to use my discount code 10 from Ben, save 10% on your next order. And this pretty much wraps up this episode. I am, like I said, I'm extremely excited. I will harvest these girls and I'll come back
we
with
check
a
references.
final,
Most content creators get them. You're only a fan, you don't usually get a rinse. So, hell, you don't need to network. You can go look these people up on your own time.
If you would like to support me further,
that's why I said we know what we do in these
lately
YouTube
I've been
streets.
all in deep thought. As I come up for oxygen, I get to thinking, I ain't asked for this life. Man, I just appeared, but I ain't crying on my life, man. Fuck the tears, and I ain't here
Appreciate
for no
the thumbs
fans, man.
up.
Fuck the cheers. I just wanna be free. I've been stuck for years, but I'm finally meet a fucking puppeteer. Pulling strings on your peers. Volunteers for damage is my year. The pioneer, no scrimmages all here. The spitting image of Creme de la Monsieur. The God of rap, am I making myself clear? If Dr. King, you can call this my premier. The first impression I met with is austere, but you finally met the king. I'm here, but can you hear?
I am the king in the sea, bearing my legacy, perpetually pristine. Living the dream, morning rain supreme. Through my melody, I resonate the dream.
I'm bound to take the crown. I got my weight up. Shit shake when I hit the ground. Protect your plate, take a big X when I hit the town. Got the streets flooded. Flow deep, try not to drown. Nigga, this street rugged. You gotta love it like McDonald's. And Pacquiao, boy, I get it by the pound.
As y'all see, we got Team Deepwater Cultivating in the building. Moderator extraordinaire, as my boy Scully Pop would say. Shout out to Scully. Y'all know to go check him out sometime, anytime, because you know he got stuff already posted. So
Everybody in New York was calling to get down with Mr. Nice Guy. We met all kinds of customers, like this guy here. He's what we call an enhancement smoker, because he thinks that marijuana makes every activity that much better.
Casa su casa.
Observe.
You're Scarface, right?
Yeah.
I love Al Pacino, man. Did you ever see Son of a Woman?
Yup.
You ever seen Son of a Woman on weed? That's the way to see it, man. It's just whack.
$60, yo.
Cool, man. I got it. Did you ever see the back of a $20 bill, man?
I don't know, yo.
Did you ever see the back of a $20 bill?
on weed.
Oh, there's some weird shit in there, man. There's dick sitting in the bushes, man. Does he have a gun? I don't know, man. I don't know. What? Red team go. Red team go. It's just some weird shit, man.
Man, you're fucking crazy, yo.
Oh, that's cool. Thanks, man. Hey, yo, wait. Dude, I'm gonna check out the stars later. It's really trippy. Especially on weed, man.
Do you get high at work? There's a lot of people out there that literally cannot clock in for a shift without they take a break. They gotta taking a break. I think it's wild, but for some people, they gotta do it just to get through the shift. If you get high at your job, leave me a comment and let me know what type of job you work. Or if you don't get high and there's a reason why at your job, leave me a comment and let me know. I want to read through these and see. But this is always an interesting topic for me. I get asked about it here and there. I get asked about tolerance a lot. And one of the things I tell people is it's hard to be high all day at work, and it's hard to be high after you get off your shift and want to relax. Now, it's a little bit different for me because I get high at work. I do a Twitch stream every night at 9 p.m. Eastern, and honestly, if I wasn't seshing, a lot of people just wouldn't watch anymore. But during the daytime, if I'm making a YouTube video, I try not to be high. Obviously, some of my videos, I'm doing some rips in there, so I do get high. But I ultimately prefer to do a video where I'm not smoking because it's quicker, it's easier for me to edit when I'm not high. There's been so many times where I session the video to show some rips or show how something works, and I'm like, well, I just want to chill now, so I'm gonna edit this one tomorrow. So for me, I prefer the videos where I don't smoke because it's a quicker, easier process. I feel like I can be more efficient. And I really do save or try to save as much of my smoking as I can for the Twitch streams. But I've also worked in a number of places. I used to smoke when I worked at a legal shop selling this stuff. I used to smoke as much as I could. I'm surrounded by it all day. I'm getting cash tips where I'm like, hey, I got enough tips to buy that gram right there right before my lunch break. I know how this is gonna go. And bro, I had a conversion van back in the day. You got blinds on the windows. You put one of those reflective screens up front. Nobody can see you. Nobody can see that you got a blowtorch and a honey straw in there, and you're just ripping as many dabs as you can before you got to clock back in 35 minutes. But I can't tell you the amount of times I spent $35, $45 on concentrates for the day, concentrates and flour, and I barely made like $100 that day. 8-hour shift, you getting paid like $12 an hour. Maybe you didn't get a lot of tips that day. It's barely 100 after taxes, even less. There's an alarming amount of people out there that want to be high for their full 8-hour shift and for the 8 hours after they clock out and they're trying to relax before they go to sleep and redo it all again. It's hard to be high for both. It's hard to be high for, in my experience, more than 5 or 6 hours a day. You can do it, but the more you try to do it, the more of a diminishing return you get on that high. So it's really about balancing the high. But it's hard to be high for 8 hours a day. So if you're trying to be high every time you got an 8-hour shift or whatever, that might be the thing that's crashing your tolerance. So when you want to get off and relax and take a nice big old rip or whatever, it's not going to hit you as hard because you've been smoking all day at work. But for some people, their job, they do it better when they're high. These are the people I want to hear from. Some people are musicians, artists. Some people out there, before they do what they gotta do, they have to get high. Not everybody has the same type of job. Not everybody's job will permit them to have the same type of approach to whether they could be high or not. But I know there's plenty of people dealing with heavy machinery and equipment, and they're like, nah, bro, I'm not trying to be high. I could hurt myself or I could hurt somebody on accident. I wouldn't want my lifeguard to be high. That person drowning or are they playing around? Ah, dang, they're gone. I always think it's interesting how people relate it as getting paid to smoke or whatever. If I'm at my job when I do it, I'm getting paid to smoke. Just like people are like, bro, every time you gotta poop, just go to work and then clock in and then poop and you're getting paid to poop. It's funny to think about it like that, but are you really getting paid to smoke, or are you just making less money for the day to be high while you're making the money? Now, I'm not telling you here what you gotta do either way. I really just want to hear from people in the comments letting me know, do you get high at your job? Do you only get high at your job and you don't even care about getting high after because you know what? I just needed that to get through my shift. Now, there's always some people that are going to be high at work on accident, right? You're like, all right, I got the day off. Let me just blaze. And then you get a phone call like, hey, 18 people called out. We need you to come in ASAP. You got something like that. It's like, well, you know, they need me. So while I will say if you're trying to manage your tolerance or you're trying to get higher during your sessions, do less sessions. Do shorter sessions. Don't try to be high the whole time you're at work and high after work. But if you're like, nah, bro, I just trying to get through this shift or whatever, do what you gotta do. You're making less money so you can be high while you do it. Either way, come get high with me at my job on Twitch. The session starts at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. If you have Amazon Prime, but you can give me a dang old bonus straight from Jeff Bezos. You can subscribe to my Twitch for free. Have a lit day, my dudes.
So he getting all the way in his bag though. Y'all know that Big probably like to show his ass on these beats. Shouts out to DJ Is. Y'all know to go check him out on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, all his musical channels. Hell, he got them beats posted up everywhere. But Jay Jordan, our level 1 Buy Me a Coffee yearly subscriber, y'all know to go check him out daily. He probably just got done working out, networking. Shout out to the boys for stopping through here though. You know, them push-ups, we doing push-ups. You know, it's another day in paradise. Hell, I know you probably out here doing good. Probably been up as long as I've been up. You know, I'm on my second video for the day, lives. We still have more videos. See, we be going in.
I'm a third-generation Montana farmer rancher. I raise registered Black Angus. I also sell about 1,000 ton of hay. The operations of a new tractor are really nice. Modern equipment has a lot of sensors, electronic switches. These power shift transmissions are wonderful. But during the busy season, the tractor kept shutting down for no reason. It was weird. It would just randomly shut down. And so I thought maybe it was something in the fuel system. I changed the fuel filter, but it kept doing it. So then I finally called our John Deere mechanic, and he said, really the only way we can figure this out is we got to hook up the computer and download the error codes. And I said, all right, can I come in and borrow it? Oh, no, we don't do that. I said, okay, I'll rent it. How much does it cost to rent it? No, we don't rent it. Well, I had hay ready to bale. And that's a critical time because if you get a little rain, it could wreck the quality of the hay. He says, I can't get to you for a week. They aren't going to give me the tools to be able to fix it myself. I was stuck.
John Deere is costing farmers and ranchers like Walter billions of dollars in lost income. And what John Deere is doing affects you even if you're not a farmer.
It has officially happened. Authorization denied.
A repair shop like mine, we're charging half what Apple would charge.
Almost a whole entire paycheck just to swap out some handlebars.
If I replace a component, it breaks something in the phone.
I just needed a battery, come on.
Why is it so hard to repair the things we own? So this is the tractor.
Yep, this is the culprit. It was just randomly shutting down. First thing we did was change the fuel filters in it, and it didn't really resolve the problem. So I was stymied at that point.
That's the only thing that you basically have the ability to do without the John Deere software.
That's exactly right. Yep. The first couple tractors I learned to drive on didn't have any electric controls. It was all mechanical controls. But, you know, those old tractors were pretty easy to diagnose if there was a problem, and pretty easy to fix those problems.
When a modern John Deere tractor malfunctions, you can't diagnose the problem without John Deere's software. But John Deere won't let farmers or independent mechanics use it. Only an authorized dealership.
And I said, all right, well, send your tech out. Let's get it done.
Yeah.
And he says, well, but we're pretty busy. We might be able to do it a little faster if you brought it into our shop.
And that faster ended up being...
A month.
In farming, time is of the essence.
We have windows of opportunity where we can get our crop planted at the right time. Too early, you might damage the crop. Too late, you might damage the crop. And then on top of that, you've got Mother Nature.
If Walter didn't bale his hay quickly, he stood to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars. On top of that, the repair wasn't cheap.
The part itself was about $150, $160. And the labor to actually change that part was about $300. But my bill was almost $5,000.
This is why those repair restrictions exist. Service and repair work can yield John Deere 5 times more profit than new equipment sales.
John Deere's profits grew by 61% in recent years, and their CEO's salary grew by 160%.
Was just a faulty sensor.
160%. Hey, I need that type of increase in my pay.
Is that something
in a good way, though. You know,
Yep.
out to that
as
good
long
way.
as I had the
Hell, we out
software
here putting in that work.
and the computer to reprogram the sensor.
So you need the software both to diagnose the problem and then also make the actual part repair.
Yep, that's right.
That strategy of requiring software to install a new part, it's called parts pairing. And it was invented by Apple, who's been a real leader in the anti-repair space. They also glue in phone batteries, so you can't just swap them out when they die. And they use proprietary screws to make it harder to get into their product. Other companies have followed suit, making it more expensive for us to fix our devices, kitchen appliances, video game consoles, cars, and so much more.
Harley-Davidson Screaming Eagle parts only and only installed by Harley-Davidson mechanics. If you install anything on your motorcycle, your warranty is voided.
Taylor, the manufacturer of McDonald's ice cream machines, makes 25% of their profits from repairs. So, like John Deere, they lock their machine software so only an authorized technician can fix them. And stores end up waiting weeks for one to arrive, which is why McDonald's soft serve machine is always broken.
Y'all wonder why the ice cream machine's still broken?
For 3 generations, Walter and his family have been fixing their own equipment. But now, John Deere isn't just restricting them from doing so. They're arguing that farmers don't actually own their tractors.
Level 1 member,
So,
Jay
a
Jordan.
quick primer on
Shouts out to
copyrights.
him. Appreciate his
If I go
stopping
into a
by, though.
bookstore and buy a book, I can confidently say I own it. I can do whatever I want with it. Read it, lend it, resell it. I can even take a power tool to it and turn it into a lamp. This is all thanks to a very old provision of copyright law called the First Sale Doctrine.
Once a copy is sold to a member of the public, the publisher or the rights holder no longer has control over that copy. That's how we have public libraries in the United States, for example. It's why we have used record stores and Goodwill.
The first sale doctrine draws a clear line between intellectual property and the personal property of consumers. But in the digital age, that line is becoming blurry. If I go to Amazon's ebook store, I'm clicking a button that says buy, and I'm paying them money. But according to Amazon, I didn't buy anything. I only licensed it. When you frame a transaction as licensing instead of selling, the consumer rights we get with the first sale doctrine don't apply anymore. Instead, those rights remain with, in this case, Amazon, who can put all sorts of restrictions on us. So, according to the contract I agreed to when I bought this book, I can only read this ebook using an Amazon-approved device if I have an active Amazon account. I can't loan it, make copies of it, or resell it. And Amazon will make extra sure I don't do any of those things by putting digital locks on their ebooks that would stop me if I tried. It's like renting a book with an invisible string that ties it to the seller. That invisible string is called Digital Rights Management, or DRM, and you'll find it on almost every digital product: software, music, movies, books, video games. And if you figure out how to get around your ebook's DRM to lend it to a friend anyway, you'd be violating the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Companies are using the DMCA to justify lots of dystopian things, like slapping subscription fees onto our printers and toothbrushes. We dug into that in another video you can check out here. So, this book I can lend, this one I can't because I'd be violating copyright law? It doesn't really make sense. But John Deere is applying that same twisted legal logic to farmers who want to fix their equipment worth millions of dollars. They told the Copyright Office that farmers aren't paying for the copyrighted software that runs their tractors. They're paying for a license to operate their tractors.
Do you think it's fair that farmers and ranchers will pay $300,000 or $1 million to purchase a combine or a tractor to not own it? We're not leasing it. We're buying that. The gadgets that are in it are part of that equipment. And the technology that runs that gadgets is part of that equipment. We thought when we bought that tractor that we bought that tractor lock, stock, and barrel.
Now, you might be wondering, if farmers don't own their tractors because they run on software, doesn't that call into question whether we truly own any of our smart devices? Car companies certainly think so. General Motors told the Copyright Office that the software in your vehicle is licensed to you, so it's GM who owns the vehicle through its entire life. If you like taking your car to your local repair shop for oil changes, this is bad news.
In the past, an oil change was as simple as, pressing the gas pedal 3 times. Today, you're hooking up an extremely expensive piece of software.
Bob Lane owns this independent auto repair shop near Boston. He's seen firsthand how car manufacturers have used new tech advancements not just to make cars more safe and more fun to drive, but to monopolize the repair market.
What I'll have to do is I will have to plug into the OBD connector along with my scanner.
Bob's technician is using BMW's proprietary software to finish up an oil change on a 2023 model.
I'm now connected to the vehicle.
Each manufacturer has their own software, which mechanics need to figure out why your check engine light is on and then to do the actual repair. Car makers won't sell that software to mechanics, but they will license it through expensive temporary subscriptions.
24 hours can be $200, $250. An annual fee could be $10,000 or $15,000, depending on the manufacturer.
What we're really concerned about today is resetting the engine oil.
When the technician tries to reset the level, nothing happens.
And sure enough, it didn't do it.
Even after subscribing to BMW's software, Bob's shop can't reset the oil light because BMW has put on a software lock that only the dealership can do it.
We should be able to reset that light. We're in the auto repair business. So if you bring your car to me, I don't want to fix your car and get 80% of the way through a diagnosis and not have the information to complete that diagnosis, the additional 20%. And then I say, I got to send you to the dealer because we don't have the information.
Data restrictions cost independent repair shops around $3 billion each year.
Do you want to see your mom and dad's friend down the street that was fixing cars go out of business? Because that's what's going to happen.
Car companies also lock out local repair shops by aggressively getting design patents for the parts of a car that are most likely to be damaged in a collision.
So if you crash your Ford Fiesta and you need a new fender, if there's a design patent on that fender, the only place you're going to be able to get that part is from Ford, and Ford gets to charge whatever it wants to charge.
These are all reasons why your car repair bill has shot up nearly 70% in the last decade. Repair monopolies don't just cost us money, they also endanger our health, like for people who use electric wheelchairs.
I've got friends that spend almost a whole year in bed because they're waiting on repairs.
And having to wait for authorized repairs can leave hospitals without critical equipment for weeks.
They don't want to give us tech support over the phone. They don't want to sell us parts, and they don't want to give us any technical literature.
For farmers and ranchers like Walter, repair monopolies exacerbate the pressures of a high-stakes job.
Farmers and ranchers, we have the highest suicide rate in the nation. And it's because our occupation is so stressful. Equipment breaking down, and you are not able to fix it, you can't do anything, that's a whole new level of stress.
So, how can we break up these repair monopolies? Well, 3 ways. The first is to enforce our existing antitrust laws. Farmers have filed multiple class action lawsuits against John Deere, saying their repair monopoly violates the Sherman Act. The Justice Department says they support the farmers, and the Federal Trade Commission has been investigating John Deere's repair monopoly since 2021. The FTC has already broken up repair monopolies from Harley-Davidson, Weber, and Westinghouse, so they can't void your warranty anymore if you use your local repair shop or do the repairs yourself. The FTC also got us our McFlurries back. Along with other repair advocates, they got the Copyright Office to grant an exemption to the DMCA so that third-party repair can circumvent the digital locks on the ice cream machines to make the necessary repairs. And that's the second way to break up repair monopolies, updating our outdated copyright laws. The Freedom to Repair Act would permanently amend the DMCA so we can jailbreak all our machines and devices, as long as it's for repair. But the most important thing we can do is pass right to repair laws and force companies to sell products that are easier to repair without going through the manufacturer. Laws like this are currently working their way through 30 state houses.
The right to repair movement is gaining more traction.
This is about competition.
I bought it, but I'm kind of a slave to your operation.
Is it more cost efficient to have it fixed or to have it replaced?
You do a charge port repair for $15.
$15?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still, the legal battle has been tough. On one side, you have farmers, local repair shops, disability rights advocates, DIY fixers, and zero waste advocates. On the other side, a group of companies worth over $10 trillion. And with all that money in lobbying, the fight has gotten pretty dirty.
Microsoft was going around telling our members in the legislature they weren't going to sell their Surface tablets in Washington any longer if we passed the bill the way it was.
To see that tug-of-war in action, let's see how it's playing out in the auto industry, where the fight over right to repair started nearly 30 years ago.
Why should only some people be able to obtain repair information, while others do not have access to it?
Over the next decade, Congress considered several federal right to repair bills for cars, but automakers lobbied fiercely and none passed.
But we just don't think there's a problem.
Until 2012. Massachusetts passed the nation's first right to repair law for cars.
Very excited, very ecstatic.
Automakers agreed to obey the state law across the country to avoid more costly battles, but their lobbying did get them a loophole. The law didn't require car manufacturers to share any repair data that was transmitted wirelessly, which today is how most new cars do it. And when Massachusetts tried to close the loophole in 2020, car companies spent $25 million trying to defeat the bill. They ran ads like this one, showing a woman being stalked in a parking garage at night. The message? Right to repair laws will give criminals access to your car's data. That's a wild argument to make, so let's take a closer look at it. New cars are like smartphones on wheels. They're collecting really sensitive data about how we look, where we go, and how fast we get there. And car companies use that data to infer even more intimate stuff about us, like our genetic information and sexual activity. That's creepy, wish they wouldn't do that at all. But they're saying that sharing repair data with mechanics would also compromise all this other vehicle data. But the Mozilla Foundation found that car companies are already exposing our information, with data breaches caused by their own mistakes, not because of right to repair. And here's the key part. Having exclusive access to all our vehicle data is really valuable. That's why automakers are fighting right to repair laws this viciously. They want data monopolies. According to a New York Times investigation, car companies take that data on your driving behavior, like how often you're braking too hard or speeding, and they sell it to data brokers, who then sell it to insurance companies, who then use it to jack up your insurance rate. Wanting to maintain a data monopoly may also be why John Deere has spent millions of dollars lobbying against right to repair bills.
This precision ag equipment that you're using is uploading data to the cloud. So are you planting corn? Are you planting soybeans? Are you planting wheat? These equipment manufacturers are harvesting real-time data of the condition of the crop, the quality of the crop, and the yields of those crops.
Real-time aggregate data about which crops are going to hit the market before they do.
They can actually manipulate the market with it. They only have to know the information about what's actually happening with harvest minutes before somebody else knows it.
Across the country, the fight over right to repair wages on. Still, these 8 states have managed to pass a bill. One of those is Massachusetts' updated auto repair law, which passed in 2020 with 75% of voters approving it. But automakers sued to block it, and the legal battle has kept it from being fully enforced. The most comprehensive law is Minnesota's. It grants the right to repair for consumer electronics and home appliances, but it leaves out farm equipment and wheelchairs. Colorado's law does cover farm equipment and wheelchairs, and it, along with Oregon, also makes parts pairing illegal, so manufacturers can't use software to stop you or a local repair shop from installing replacement parts. But a patchwork of state laws isn't enough. We need comprehensive federal right to repair laws, like the Fair Repair Act, which would remove software locks and other repair restrictions from your phone, laptop, and other devices. Lawmakers have also introduced federal right to repair bills specifically for cars and for farm equipment.
It's kind of therapeutic to take on a problem and fix that problem yourself. And that has been taken away from me. That is about 30 years old. It has around 12,000 hours on it.
Walter bought this older John Deere tractor secondhand so that when it broke down, he could troubleshoot it with his local mechanic.
And pull it back 3 times, and then to the right twice, and then read the error code.
With the error codes, Walter and his mechanic could figure out what part he needed to replace, which he found on eBay. And this was an official John Deere part that you bought on eBay.
That's right, on eBay.
Walter installed the new part himself and was back up and running within a day.
No software, didn't have to reprogram the part.
And the final repair
What
bill?
up, bro? It's good to see you. How you doing?
And I was able to do it myself.
Thanks for watching The Classroom. We're always looking to tell more stories like this one, unpacking the economic systems that impact all of our daily lives. What other issues do you want to see us cover? Sound off in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Let's discuss my payment. That time is past. No 5,000 for you. The price is 50. How about your payment is you get to leave? Not enough. Now you think you can negotiate with me? I say the word, my nephews go to a certain motel, pay a visit to your daughter-in-law and your little granddaughter. What do you think happens then? Consider your position carefully. I get my money, or neither of us walk out of here. You willing to die for this? Maybe I need the 50,000 more than you do.
Hey everybody, welcome to Factually. I'm at.
Nah. Don't give away the next sauce, because that's going to be our next video we go do. Shit, shouts out to already having plans for the future. Hell, see that? Yeah, hell, like your mama and daddy told you. Hell, let me get up out of this Rumble video. Alright, Rumble, y'all know to catch me tomorrow, because we'll be going right back at it again. Shout out to that Sunday 10 a.m. video on YouTube. Y'all know to go check me out live over there, and then I'll be having the Rumble studio quality video over there. So you know, if you want to see the studio quality, you definitely go check out the Rumble. You dig? Check out the Rumble. I'll put it in the chat for y'all. Definitely works for the replay gang. It'll come back later for the vertical. Shout out to the verticals, because you know it be like that sometimes. Hell, you might want to see something, but hell, you can go look it up. It's in the description though, so you know, shout out to do that. Let's see, we done start the Rumble video. Cause I'm getting ready to take the phone and move around. See, that's the good thing about being live on your phone. You can just move around and do whatever you need to do. Shout out to that, right? Right. I'm gonna take the stand with me, that way it might be able to sit up. Let's see, where are we at? Channel dashboard. It says we had 60 views so far. I appreciate that. We got like 20 thumbs up. Almost. Close to it. 18. Y'all know what to do. Like, share, subscribe. We at 1397 on subs though, so we about ready to hit 1400 subs. Doing our THING. I see some comments from Dale and them. Hey, shout out to the studios, because they show you what you're getting. Shout out to Roll Hot Kennel. Y'all know to go check them out daily. They be doing their thing over there with the homesteading. Appreciate that. Let's see. Let's go into the green room. I'll show y'all what we got in 10-1 though. Shout out to 10-1 for doing his THING. Y'all know we recently put something back in here. Shout out to that. Looks like it's still doing good, so we're going to be probably feeding it some more food later on, because that's probably what it's looking like. It's ready for some more food. Get them lower leaves back dark and satty. Going for the satty look with the leaves. Finna get them on point. Hit them with that military grade cow mag right there in flour. That's the secret tip. Yeah, look at it, right back to looking better. There's tent 2. It's empty for the moment, but we might be putting something in there. You can see all the air pumps. Shouts out to the Pump Nation. You know, we keep it aired up when we need to. But here we are again in the green room. It was the greens had to go, right? And of course we got our cups for our Bear Miller genetics. Shouts to that part of the family. You already know the big homie sent us a bunch of beans. We got all types of auto cross that he did for us. So we are definitely trying to get some more of those back running in our cups, which is exactly what we do today. Get them cups popping. You dig? We starting them in soil for now, so that way, once they actually pop up and germinate, we can transplant them into their DWC pots with the quickness, because, you know, we trying to make some things happen. Which one is this? SH. SH. All right. So let's see. I'm trying it again. Got my notepad out because you know what Dr. Dre said. We've been in the lab with a pen and a pad. What's today? The 22nd. Shouts out to know what day it is. Yep. Okay, so those are in the cup. Applying water. I gotta get some more water though, because this ain't gonna be enough. For all the cups that I gotta do, but it's enough for each one. I don't wanna get that good. After we know some time with them, at least until tomorrow when the light comes on. Shouts out to keeping them lights popping. Yeah, you know, we did our videos and now we in the green room letting y'all see them plants do their job, right? Right. That's why I said, hell, you actually got to watch the content to see the content. Hell, you might be distracted by the videos and be like, oh, I'm not watching popcorn. He over here reviewing and stealing other people's content. You damn right I'm reviewing and stealing other people's content. Hell, then I'm going to show you what I got going on in the green room. Then you'll be like, damn, he doing all that. That boy out here working. Shout out to him for putting in the work, though, because he trying to be who he want to be. Trying to be who you want to be. I see, that's why I check your references, because I make sure if you're a content creator, you can come in here and put in that work. You dig? Dropping them links. I see you out here networking, professionals. You dig? That's why you come in and get a wrench, because then on the replay game, they can check you out. Let's see, this is DG. Okay, so now today we're doing DG, and we'll probably drop 4 more of these in here. Shouts out to Bear Miller. Like I said, I got enough of the genetics. I ain't worried about not being able to run if I pop a lot. Right? Right. We're going to pop 4 of those. Because, you know, legally I can have a higher number in veg. It depends on how many flowers. But I got a high plant count on that also because I have stacked my authorizations as legally advised. Okay, Mr. Harper, this is what we're going to need you to do. Oh, really? Yeah. You got that coming. I'm going to make them moves. Let's see. I'm going to need some water here in a minute because this is going to probably take the rest of it. But y'all already know what to do. Y'all gonna be sitting here with the ladies in the green room. Hopefully you're enjoying the view. Like, oh, that's actually what he's got growing. Yeah, you just saw I had one in the flower intent. And then I got a couple in here to show you. And then y'all know what else we had growing. We got the dragon fruit. We got some strawberries. We got money tree. Shout out to the money tree. It's looking real good right now too. Yeah, it's actually looking better than it did last week. Shouts out to it. It's feeling itself. I see you. And yeah, I know these these strawberries like water on them daily, so I'm about ready to water them too. So yeah, I'll definitely have to grab some more water. Rat tat tat tat. Okay, so now that I got my water, I see our new friend is over here networking to the fullest. Appreciate that. You ain't gotta wait for me to do nothing. Damn, I only got one SBR left. So, that sucks. But I still have all the photos of these autos. Because he sent me the auto army, but I still have the photo copies. So let's see, I'm out of 4G and 4K and now SBR. So I've already used up all of those. So I can let them know which ones I'll definitely be looking to get more of after I do the photos. But I got one left for now, so hopefully you make it, bud. Last of that breed, right? Nah, I got the photos of it, so it'll still have some more content coming. Okay, let's see. FF. That's the last of it, and there's only two. Yeah, well, hope you make it. That's why in the meantime we're dropping a lot of seeds, because you never know what's going to make it or not going to make it. But hey, if they all make it, we're happy to see them. We got places for you, right? Shout out to the Indoor Garden Real Estate. But you know, in this video, we covered a lot, especially the challenges of not smoking weed on February 29th, 30th, and 31st. Well, that's another genetic done. Put it back and watch what grows. Let's see. BBK. We still have plenty of these seeds, so we'll be dropping 4. SK. Here's the BBK cup. Okay, so let's see. And then we still have more of the ZZs. How many of these is in here? There's 6 in there, so we'll drop 3 of these and keep. Okay, so next we got SK1. Shout out to that SK1. It's got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seeds. So we'll be dropping 4. And running 4. SK1, 4 more to go, right? Here's this cup right here, orange cup. And this will be how my day goes. I'll be keeping these wet for the next couple of days, right? Shout out to them Wet Plenties 2025 at 7:55. Say, boy, why you always gotta say that? Boy, you talking about them Wet Plenties, because that's what we do, right? Shout out to the indoor gardens. Keeping them wet. Because, you know, we know they appreciate that, though. Especially when you start them seeds, right? Appreciate that, Melinda. I'm glad you had time to catch up with me. You see where the garden is. You did. We keep them in the videos sometimes. Of course, we got that mirror, so I see that floor profile. It's always good to see it from the front and the back. Let me see what that's looking like. Let's start missing the roots, which is expected. Let's see what we got left. We got BS and BA. Let's see. Here's we got the BS. And there looks to be a lot of seeds, so we'll get 4 out. Four of them. Boom. And we'll see what makes it, right? See, that's a green cup. Shouts out to that green cup nation. Yeah. Alright, and of course, last but not least, which would be why we're doing this part of the video today, right? Y'all keep it with your boy. Hopefully you knew you was gonna be locked in with me. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, which leaves 4 seeds. 3, 4. Alright, bet. Of the BA. Bet. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, all of them in one swoop. Damn, we're getting good at this. Hang on, lady, we going for a ride. Alright, so now we got those dropped. Queen, Beauty, Rose, you're welcome. You know how we do. We always got some networking to do. Hell, you ain't just gonna watch me put in work. You came to put in some work yourself. Shouts out to keeping it moving and being in the chats, because you know how we do. We do it. Anyways, let's see. I can go ahead and be on some BS today. Here. That one. Take that out right there on that one. Yes, I did just top. Because those are the Blue Banner OG. Given they are the taller of the two, that's why I want to go ahead and get their energy focused on them smaller secondary tops it's already started to produce. So, you know, it'll get bushy and squat. Bushy and squat, right? Because I see how I grew the first one, and you know, similarly growing that too. So that'll be good because that means they'll go in a flower fast, given that I have a full 10 available, right? Yeah, right. He kind of know what he doing as far as the processing, right? Hell, if I got short ladies ready, I know how to make them look squatty, right? Squatting, give me something. Give me something. Boom, those two are top though. And we still got times three little dudes. They starting to catch up though. Hell. So I could probably get those two ready to go into flower together in 10-2. That'd be funny. One planting 10-1 and two planting 10-2. Hey, that's how it be like sometimes. That'll be the start of March though. Hell, because you know it's time for them Saints to come marching in. Oh, when the Saints come marching in. Come March, we're going to be marching in a lot of things because, you know, we got to get ready for that next round of cultivation authorization, get that micro license. That's 250 plants. I need that, so you know we're gonna eat that. You dig? Well, like I said, we got a long list of genetics from our homie Bear Miller. We got that blueberry muffin. Shouts out to that all fem autos because that's what he crossed with. You see what I'm saying? So we got the 4K, 4G, double grape, blackberry Kush, skunk one, banana strawberry, forbidden fruit, blue amnesia, white widow crossed with sweet tooth, Zoe Skittles, and sugar black rose. That's what all those labels were I was saying earlier. Shouts out to the big homie Bear Miller. Y'all know to go check him out over at Son of Odin Seed Company. You dig? Yeah, I zoomed right there on the logo. Y'all see the big homie. Y'all know to go check him out. Don't be a hater your whole life. You dig? But anyways, let's see. Show you exactly what everything's looking like though since today. You dig? We got the money tree spots that I done try to clone and see if I can get those rerooted and growing on their own. Because trying to see which section of the plant I need to actually clone off of it. That way I know when I'm cloning myself. Boom. Then here go a couple of the ladies we got. Shout out to them teenagers. They small, but they finna get that grow on, right? I might hook them back up to air because some of them are growing faster without, but some of them could probably definitely use the help. But that's what them roots is looking like though. You see what I'm saying? They digging deep, going ham. Show you what those ones. Shout out to the root shots because you know they all like them roots. He's already doing his thing. That's why I got tops earlier to catch up because I finally got its water level correct for it, and it's making its adjustments now. So yeah, doing its thing. That's why it's catching up. Now why ain't you liking your environment? Do I gotta put some more water in you? I might have to. That way you can get some more of that. Gave too much air, not enough water. And then water you up too, cause hell, that's probably the exact problem. The water level's low. That's why they're not growing as much. Cause if the water level's high, you see they ready to touch the sky, like Kanye West said. Buy you a spaceship and fly. Working the gray shift. I ain't paid yet. First finna be ready to come up it'll be time to feed my cactus. Shout out to the cactus, so y'all know how we do. You know how we is. That's why I said we going in and putting in that work today. Hell, showing y'all that hey, the daily maintenance is sometimes lightweight and easy. Hell, I dropped some more genetics, which let's see, we had a couple that are no longer going to be available as far as the autos. So the auto army is going to be smaller. So let's see, we'll still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of the list of genetics we got from the big homie Bear Miller. Shout out to Son of O&T Company for, you know, your boy some beans to grow as far as autos and good things to get popping. But what you're looking at are the photos, which are the Blue Banner OGs. Shouts out to them because as long as this one that I have in Tent 1 shows female traits, then I'll know all these clones are good. And we'll have a decent future for them coming up. But hell, as soon as I verify the sex on these, because they're clones off of that one, then I'll keep pushing them and getting them ready to get in the flower. Because, like I said, this one's good for a short, squatty plant, or I could let it get tall and do all types of other stuff with it too. So, either way, short and bushy or tall, and let it get some legs to it. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? You got to know how to control these ones. It's good for me because, you know, like I said, I'll throw those 2 in there ASAP, and then the 3 will be ready to go when it's done. Yep, nice trade-off. And then I'll have more clones available before that off of those 3, because those will be the 3 I'll be pulling clones off of, because strugglers have better genetics to pass, apparently. I had to struggle my whole life. Oh, that means you hit hard, huh? Yeah, I do. Why? Yeah, come on. Find yourself in a rap. Not a battle, just a rap. But that's February 22nd. Y'all know what we gonna do. We'll be live 10 a.m. tomorrow because it'll be Sunday. And then 6 p.m. Wednesday because that'll be What's Poppin' Wednesday. Y'all know to look for your boy. Go check out the big homie, the Jay Jordan. Y'all see he's still in the chat active. Go check out Melinda Elliott because she's still in here too. Hell, y'all know how we do. We come up with these spots for y'all to network. Give y'all a chance to come do you some supporting and some networking at the same time. That way, yeah, find you some supporters of yourself while you find people that you want to support. Shout out to liking the videos you like. Y'all keep it popping.